Hi everybody, thank you for joining us today. My name is Nikita and I'm the product manager at Tax 990. Today we're going to talk about the process of successfully completing the 990EZ and 990 long form balance sheet using our form-based filing method. If you have questions during the presentation, please add them to the chat and we'll address them at the end of the webinar. We do want to mention we are not tax advisors and we will not be providing specific tax advice. We will purely be discussing IRS e-filing requirements and the process of e-filing. For specific tax questions, please contact a tax advisor such as a CPA. This presentation will be recorded and available at tax990.com/webinars. During today's webinar, we'll be discussing how to complete the balance sheet using our form-based filing format for the 990EZ and 990 long form. We'll take a look at a couple of specific Tax 990 features. We'll review the filing process with Tax 990. We'll go over the upcoming webinars in our bootcamp series, and we'll do a brief Q&A. One of the most common areas of the return that our support team gets calls about is the 990 and 990EZ balance sheet. The IRS has very specific calculation requirements when it comes to the balance sheet that make completing it sometimes difficult to understand. Today we're going to take a look at the step-by-step process of completing the balance sheet for both the 990 and 990EZ form using our form-based filing method. Let's go ahead and jump straight in to the videos for the balance sheet of each form. We'll start by reviewing our How to Complete the Form 990 Balance Sheet video. I will mention both of these videos are available on our YouTube channel, so you can review them in the future if necessary. Completing the balance sheet on the 990 form involves several steps. We're going to briefly walk through those steps. You begin by completing your assets section on the balance sheet. To enter your information, you will enter between lines 1 and lines 15, both column A and column B, for beginning of year and then for end of year. What you enter on column A and column B for assets will auto-calculate down to line 16 for total assets, column A and column B. If you have liabilities to report, you would enter those between line 17 and line 25. Again, both beginning and end of year. Once you've completed your assets and liabilities, you would complete the net assets or fund balance section. You have to begin by choosing either your option of the organization that follows FASBA SC 958 or organization that does not follow FASBA SC 958. You would select one of those boxes to enable the additional lines associated. You then need to take your assets and liabilities and enter the information on one of the lines underneath the category. If you only have assets reported, you would only enter the total assets beginning and end of year. For example, if we did not have liabilities, we would pull our assets down to this section and report them the same as how they're reported in the asset section. So these numbers on line 33 match our line on 16. Since we have liabilities, we will take the difference between our assets and liabilities and enter that value in the net assets and fund balances. So that again, our line 33 value matches our line 16 value. Now to clear our line 32 error, we have to reference page 12. Now on page 12, we're going to look at part 11, reconciliation of net assets. Now line 1, line 2, line 3, and line 4 will auto-calculate from the referenced portions of the form. For example, line 1, total revenue, will calculate from Part 8, Column A, line 12. Total expenses for line 2 will auto-generate from Part 9, Column A, line 25, and so on. So these values cannot be changed. We're going to enter our information between lines 5 and lines 9 to resolve the error and have Part 11, line 10 match Part 10, line 32B. And that will clear the error because those values match. Now, the 990EZ balance sheet, while similar to the 990 form balance sheet, is a little bit simpler to complete because it's only 4 pages for the whole 990EZ form, and the 990 form is upwards of 12 pages. So the balance sheet on the EZ form is quite a bit shorter. However, there still are a lot of specific calculations that you'll have to review when completing the form. Let's take a look at the 990EZ balance sheet video. We're going to begin by adding our revenue and expenses information in Part 1 of the 990EZ form. The information you put between lines 1 and lines 8 will auto-calculate as total revenue on line 9. For expenses, the information you put between line 10 and line 16 will auto-calculate as total expenses on line 17. So you can see here our total revenue was $156,000 and our total expenses was $148,000. Our excess of revenue over expenses is auto-calculated by subtracting line 17 from line 9, giving us an excess of $8,000. We're going to add our value of net assets or fund balances at the beginning of the year. You would find this information on your prior year return end of year information, which will generate our net assets or fund balances at the end of the year by combining lines 18 through 20 and giving us a total of $19,000. We're then going to move on to page 2 to complete the balance sheet information on page 2. So we'll input our beginning of year assets and liabilities to generate our net assets or fund balances. Now you can see once we put our asset information in, it's going to generate our total assets and calculate our net assets here. We do need to add our liabilities, and we can see the error we have here is stating that line 27 of column A, which would be this $59,000 value here, must agree with Part 1, line 19. So if we go back to Part 1 and scroll down to line 19, we'll see that our net assets at the beginning of the year was $11,000. So we have to input liabilities to equal out that value. We can use the green plus sign here to add liability information for both beginning of year and end of year. And that'll balance our error and make all of our numbers equal. Now, if we had not provided this end of year liability information, we would have an additional error indicating that line 27 column B of $63,000 must agree with Part 1 line 21. If we go back to Part 1 line 21, we'll see our value was $19,000, so we have to input liabilities to equal that value. And again, you can see that cleared the error on both the balance sheet and the revenue and expenses section of the form. As I mentioned earlier, if you do have specific questions on your account and balance sheet, please reach out to our support team. We're not able to provide specific tax advice or tell you how to enter your values, but we can help provide guidance on the calculations and where you can increase or decrease your values to adjust those calculations. Since the IRS has mandated e-filing, your organization must use an e-file provider to complete and transmit your return. The IRS mandates that all 990 forms be filed electronically. Choosing an IRS authorized provider is crucial. However, you should also keep in mind that the features and tools they offer are also important to making the right choice for your organization. Just like choosing a technology-driven accounting software, choosing an e-file provider that meets your needs will streamline your reporting. Tax 990 is an IRS authorized e-file provider with over a decade of experience e-filing tax forms. Collectively, Tax 990 and its sister products offer the option to e-file over 70 different tax forms, including business tax forms such as the 1099, W-2, and 941 forms with Tax Bandits, ACA forms with ACA-wise, using the 1094 and 1095 B and C forms, and several business and personal extension forms using Express Extension. For more information on our other solutions, please reach out to our team. Filing your return with Tax 990 can be done in just a few simple steps. Once you've created your account and added your organization, you'll choose the form you need to file. Using one of our 2 available filing format options, you'll add the necessary information to the return. Once you complete the return, Tax 990 will confirm the form and information provided has met all of the IRS form instructions using our internal audit. When you've cleared your audit errors, you'll have the option to share the return as necessary. And the final step will be transmitting the form to the IRS. A few spotlight features that we'll take a look at today, or we'll talk about, are the filing format options. As you saw in the video, we have the form-based filing format, which is very similar to the form PDF, and you complete it line by line. We also have an interview-based filing format that is more of a question and answer format and allows you to provide yes or no responses and then complete the necessary sections related to that response. Oftentimes, if you're familiar with the forms or completing these returns, the form-based filing format seems to be the chosen option for our organizations. However, if you're more comfortable with the interview-based question and answer format, it works very well for specific organizations also. The option to switch between filing formats is not available. If you change your filing format in the middle of your filing, you'll just have to start over on the form. We also offer the option to file amended returns. Whether you filed with Tax 990 or not, for the original form, if you notice an error on an originally accepted return, you can use our form-based filing format to complete an amended return to make any changes from the original accepted form. We offer the option to purchase credits in your Tax 990 account. This is generally used by account holders that file multiple forms during the same tax year. So if you're filing for multiple organizations, you can use our credits option and pre-purchase all of your forms and then just apply a credit during the checkout process instead of running a credit card with each transaction. Additionally, if you have staff members that assist you in the filing process, they would be able to utilize your credits to process payments for the returns and allow you to step out of that process. If you have questions along the way, we offer customer support that's dedicated, personalized, and available. We focus on your account and the questions you specifically have. You won't need to be on hold for several hours or put on a callback list, so when you need assistance with your return, you can just give us a call or reach out via chat or email. We are here to help along the way. Keep in mind, as the May 15th deadline approaches, our wait times may be a little bit longer, so you can get started on your annual 990 series return now. Give us a call or send us an email for any additional assistance. Tax 990s put a lot of work into providing you with the best resources. You can review our knowledge base to get quick answers to common questions related to the filing process, form information, or filing requirements. You can also check out our YouTube and blog channels for helpful step-by-step guides and instructions. Leading up to the May 15th filing deadline, we'll be hosting a webinar boot camp every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to focus on specific topics related to the 990 series filing. You can visit tax990.com/webinars to register for any upcoming webinar that relates to your filing requirements or to learn more about filing with Tax 990. If you're unable to attend any of the webinars, we will post them all on our website after they air live. These will all be short 20-minute topic-focused trainings. Next week, we're going to be looking at the filing requirements for the 990 and 990EZ and who would qualify for those forms. Okay, we'll finish up today with a quick Q&A. If you don't get your questions answered today, please reach out to our support team at support@tax990.com. We'll also send a follow-up email if we're unable to review your questions live today and give you more information via email. I'll give you just a moment to add your questions to the chat. Okay, our first question is from Melinda. How do I know if I should file a 990 or 990EZ? So definitely check out our webinar next week where we will review further information on those filing requirements. Really, the form you file is based on your exempt status and your gross receipts. But again, check out our webinar next week for more information on that or reach out to our team. Shannon is wondering, let's see, I filed the 990EZ last year. Can I file a 990 this year? Yes. If your revenue and expenses, if your gross receipts and assets change from year to year, the form that you choose to file can also change from year to year. So if you decrease in gross receipts and assets, then your form type may change. If you increase, then again, your form type may change. Please go ahead, check out our webinar next week for more information on those filing options. John is stating, I started using interview-based, and I think after watching the videos, I like the form-based better. Can I switch? As I mentioned, you can switch your filing formats from the 990 series tab in your account. However, when you switch your filing format, you will start over on the form. The information will not transfer with you. So if that is something you choose to do, we do suggest downloading the PDF draft first. So when you switch, you have a little bit of a reference before completing the form. Okay, that about sums up our time today. Thank you everybody for joining us. Please check out our webinar next week. Like I said, we're going to talk about the filing requirements for the 990 and 990EZ form. And if you have questions, please reach out to our team. We're happy to help. Have a great rest of your day.